Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another insightful online webinar by Lead Corp. I am Khamarudheen KP, your host today, and I am a corporate outbound trainer and a columnist. I am conducting such outdoor leadership program, outbound training programs for corporates and the educational sector. This is actually the sixth workshop in this free workshop series, and we have uploaded the previous programs on YouTube. At LeadCorp, our sole objective is to create a platform for knowledge sharing and professional growth. So today we are handling a topic that actually the backbone of every successful organization. That's building a strong organizational culture. That's handled by Vineeth Vinnie. Vineeth is a corporate coach and author. Vineeth will be leading this session. And Vinnie's books are available on Amazon, and he's available for the coaching for your organization and individuals. Before we begin, let me take a moment to welcome everybody. I'm so happy that the participants from different parts of India has joined. So once again, I welcome you, everybody. And without further ado, let's warmly welcome Mr. Vineeth Vinnie to facilitate this webinar. Hi, welcome, Vinnie, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Kamaru. So, like Kamaru said, we are glad to be facilitating yet another training webinar to our vibrant members of the group. And today's topic, like Kamaru said, is building a strong organizational culture, right? So, I would like to begin by asking what you understand when you hear culture. What are the things that come to your mind? Whether it's culture of a community or culture of an organization, what is it? What comes to your mind? Anything. Let's start somewhere with whatever that comes up. Yes, Gajanand sir.
Culture is something which a group of people has established, and a set of or principles or a set of processes, we can say, that generally we
Right.
call culture, basically.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you, Gajanand. So when you go to an organization, when you go to a place, when you go to a country, you feel it. When you go to an organization, when you go to a company, you feel it as a customer or a client. When you work at a company, you feel it as an employee. From what do you feel if you go to a place, go to a shop, go to a coffee shop, you go to an apparel shop? From what do you feel the culture of the organization? How do you know it? Where do you get the cue?
From the people.
From the people, right? From how they behave, from what they do, from what they say, from how they say what they say, right? From all these things, we understand what is the culture of an organization. So let's see why culture is important. Let's see how culture is built in an organization. Let's see how the greatest of the companies of our times have given a lot of focus, taken a lot of effort to build a great culture, and what it takes to build a great culture, a strong culture, right? So I would like to begin by sharing just a short video here. Can you see the video?
Yes, yes.
Right. So what is this video about?
It is showing something the buses are not following the systems and getting clashed, and it is having some
Yeah, right.
accident.
So compared to the buses we have in India, in all of the participants today are from our country, India. Compared to the buses in India, this is worse, right? So you can see how more reckless it is, But now, if we go to some other country, we can also see how the traffic is managed better. My friend Kamaru was saying when he visited, when he you talked about something from Singapore, right?
Yes, when I was in Malaysia, I spent
Malaysia.
1 week there. Then I didn't even hear the voice of a horn. Then only once I heard the sound of a horn. Then
Right.
that's the difference between here and there. Then I asked. Then only once I heard. Then they said something serious happened. That's why honking.
Thank you, Kamaru, for sharing that. So, so that is how it differs. It changes. Recently, I had a terrible experience. I mean, this is a part of our day-to-day experience when we are living in our country. When we are in a traffic block, what happens is that a lot of people jump the queue after waiting for 5 minutes, after waiting for 2 minutes. People jump the queue and they make the traffic block even worse because they jump the queue, they overtake all the others and try to cross the traffic jam, and they get stuck at the end of the traffic jam, right? So they make the traffic block even worse. So I was stuck at a 5-minute traffic block as shown by the Google Maps. But because people were jumping the queue, jumping the jam, what happened was a 5-minute block was extended to almost a 20-minute block. This is the day-to-day story of us Indians. So how we act in a traffic signal varies from countries to country. It is done in one way in Bangladesh, it's done in another way in India, it's done in another way in Malaysia or Singapore or in Dubai or in European countries or in the US, right? So what happens is that people have some belief. If I stay here in a traffic block, what will happen is somebody else will overtake me. They are going to jump the queue and they are going to cheat. So I will be the dumb one. The other person will be the smart one, and I will be the dumb one if I stay here. So this is what people believe. This is what people think. So what happens is that everybody thinks this because everybody has such an experience, and this culture is reinforced. This is exactly what happens in an organization where trust is not the norm. Instead, backstabbing is the norm. Hiding what you know is the norm. You don't teach others what you know. You make fun of others for not knowing something at a particular point of time. These things are the norm. So what happens is that everybody acts accordingly. Everybody does the same. So people think that if I don't backstab the other person, I will be the dumb one. Or at least if I don't act too cautious and I get backstabbed by somebody else, I will be the dumb one and the other person will be the smart one. So once there is a tendency, once some people are doing it, once people in the higher levels of the hierarchy are doing it, that becomes reinforced. Now that becomes the norm, that becomes the culture. So now this is about behavior, this is about how people act, but culture can even be seen or observed from the design of the place. For example, if you go to a restaurant and if there are like 3 wash basins and not one is dedicated to a child, now you know that place is not a child-friendly place. That place is not a family-friendly place. So a lot of places, a lot of restaurants which host families a lot of them, or at least some of them, ignore the child, the kid. There is a cafeteria in my town where there are like 2 wash basins, and it's a place where a lot of families come, and it's all for the adults. And at the same place, there is a ramp for the differently abled, and that ramp, on the top of it, they have kept 2 flower vases. Now that is not usable. And the ramp is not even at the appropriate slanting. It's like too slopey, so no one can use it. So in the design as well, you can see the ripples, the reflections of the culture. So what constitutes the culture, or how a culture is formed. Based on what is a culture formed? I'll share my slide once again. Every day, can you read it? Can you see it? Every day dash and dash of each member of the team in pursuit of the company's dash. This is basically a definition for culture given by the former COO of Zappos, the popular shoes and apparel store, Zappos. Its COO gave this definition for culture in a training program, in a lecture. So what are these dashes about? What are these blanks about? Every day dash and dash of each member of the team in pursuit of the company's dash. So some of it has already been given. The second dash, this one, the second blank is about behaviors and actions. Behaviors bar actions, right? And the first one is about the beliefs, core values, and in the pursuit of company's mission, right? So while all companies have a mission, whether written or not, whether they are conscious of it or not, whether they have drafted it or not, all companies have a mission and they are in the pursuit of a mission. And in the pursuit of a mission, what are the core beliefs that the employees, that the team, the leadership and the team hold, and how do they act or how do they behave every day, every moment? That is what defines the culture of an organization. This is the definition given by Alfred Lin. Now, there are a few more definitions to give. This is not to confuse you, and this is not for you to like remember everything line by line or word by word, but to give you more clarity, I'll give you a few more definitions. This is from one of my favorite authors, Seth Godin, known as the modern guru of marketing, guru of modern marketing. This is what he says. People like us do things like this. So this is how we do things here. This is the simplest and pretty straightforward definition of culture. So if you go to a company, if you go to a restaurant, you can see that almost all bearers, they act the same way. All the employees of the organization, they have a particular way of dealing with people, almost all of them. There may be some people who stand out in the beginning, but eventually everyone becomes the same. So people like us do things like this. Basically, that is culture. And this is another quote regarding culture. I'm not sure if this is rightly attributed to Peter Drucker, but it's attributed to his name usually. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. So culture is in that sense different from strategy. Culture is how people act. This is not something that you strategize, right? This is how people act, and this is how people act when nobody is looking. Even more clear definition of culture. It is how people act when the CCTV camera is not working. This is how people act when the boss is not in the room. This is how people act when the manager is not looking. This is how the manager acts when the boss is not looking, right? So when nobody is surveilling you, nobody is observing you, nobody is watching you, how do you act? So when the culture of an organization is clear, when the core values are clear, and when the hiring is done on the basis of the core values, people will act in a particular way. And it begins with the hiring. This begins with the clarity on the core values. That is the first thing. You know the core values, and you hire based on it. And now, as you hire more and more people after 6 months, after 1 year, as the team gets bigger, there is a good chance that the culture will be kept because it becomes the DNA of the organization. So it is about having the right people on board early on. Just a few more things. And culture is the environment you create for your people. Brian Chesky, the founder of Airbnb. And Howard Schultz, I guess Starbucks CEO, right? The shared Starbucks founder. The shared values and practices that determine how we show up. The stories we tell and the actions we reward. So in an organization, what stories you tell? What do you boast about? What do you cherish? What gives you goosebumps every day? And what actions do you reward? And what actions do you punish? This gives you a clarity about what the culture is. And now Dharmesh Shah, the founder of HubSpot, the popular CRM, customer relations management platform, right? So these are some of the popular quotes about culture. So this gives you quite an idea about culture. But to give you more idea, let's look at some cases, some real cases. How many of you have been to Decathlon? Decathlon. Yeah, Gajanan has been there. Anybody else? Who else has been to Decathlon? What is it? What is the segment? What is it about?
The sports shop, like it's a, they have all the accessories and props related to sports.
Right. Could you share something interesting that you noticed about their employees? What did you notice about their team? Can you share one value or one quality that you noticed?
They're all having a uniform, like, and they have
Mhm.
their bibs weared on that. Similar,
Right.
we go to the DMart and they say, "How can I help you?" Kind of that bibs, it's
Yeah.
weird. That's one
Right.
thing, and they spontaneously come to help you. And, how can I assist you? Or they ask you, should I help you to choose any product or kind of.
Right. Yeah. And were they like pushy? Were they pushy? Like, sir, please buy this. Please buy this. Did they ever ask you that?
Actually, they help us to buy or just to, like, what we are looking, they are just assisting. They never force that you buy this or that. They will just help you to, like, identify the right thing, that I can say.
Great, sir. Thank you, Gajanan. Thank you. So here are some of the core values of Decathlon. Let's see how consistent their practicing culture, their actual values and actual culture is to what they have written. This is what they have drafted. Recently, they have made some changes with their vision and their core values, but that is very recent. That's why I haven't taken the most recent one. It may take some time for it to reflect there, and then so that's why I have taken this value list, which was there in force until the last for the last until before the last 6 months. So they have recently made some change. So here are some things: vitality, responsibility, authenticity, and generosity. Right? These are some of the core values. They are like Gajanan Pawar said. They are like a sports team. They wear uniform and they behave like a sports team member. They are agile. They are active. They are energetic, but they are not so energetic as to push you into buying things. They don't show that sort of an energy. Their energy is that of a sports person's kind of a vitality. They don't act too smart and push you into buy things. And they are responsible. They don't wait for the order from their manager. And in fact, their manager is actually called, I guess their manager is called team leader or floor leader or something. Their entire floor is constituted like a sports team. That is the relationship they have. That is the hierarchy they have in the organization. And all the employees are expected to be familiar with some sports form. They should be into some kind of a sports, at least into jogging or running, badminton or whatever it is. And here, this is the job description for a post, for the post of an omni sport leader for badminton. Is sports your passion? If yes, we are thrilled to have you join our dynamic team at our store. Your enthusiasm and dedication will undoubtedly contribute to our success in providing exceptional sporting goods and experience to our customer. We believe in fostering a collaborative and supportive environment where every team member can thrive. We look forward to working together and wish you a fulfilling and rewarding journey with us. This is a message from the store leader. So for every posting, every job posting they make, they add a message from the store leader. And so actually this is the mission here. This is also basically the description. As an Omni Sports leader, your role is to ensure all customers leave our stores satisfied or satisfied. You have two options, and both are the same. So you have only one option basically. So you leave the customer satisfied. From a friendly and professional welcome to a quick and easy payment process, your role is to always deliver a 5-star shopping experience. Anything under 5-star, they don't tolerate it. Decathlon heavily invests in the development of teammates so that those who want to build careers within the business can flourish within the roles. So almost all places, including the hiring process, including the job role, and a lot of things are written here. They all are very consistent with what they have written as the values. And as far as my research, as far as what I have learned from my research, my exploration, this has been quite consistent in even in countries like India and other Asian countries, not just in France where they originated, or not just in the European countries or in the US. This has been quite consistent, but there have been some negative experiences here and there that I could find, but this has been largely consistent. So vitality, responsibility, authenticity, and generosity. So authenticity is when they don't like act very pleasingly. They keep a kind of like a neutral energy. They don't act really in a really pleasing way. They are like more authentic in how they act with you. So that also gives the customer, this may not be useful for all the organizations, but for their culture, it's consistent with them. In some organizations, you will have to do more than or better than authentic, better than being authentic. You'll have to do that. But for the consistent culture of Decathlon, this serves them and this serves the customers, because it doesn't put a pressure on the customer to buy things from them. You can just check things out and you can just leave. That's also fine. So they don't pressure you into buying things. Now, Airbnb. This is also something that we all are, at least we have all heard the name Airbnb. What is it about, Airbnb? Anybody?
Leasing the properties, like
Yeah,
they're or providing the accommodation basically.
yeah, right. So here people go and sleep at the places of strangers. Strangers, they list their homes as a property in on the Airbnb platform, and travelers, when they visit a place for leisure or for work purposes, whatever it is, instead of checking into a hotel, you check into this stranger's place. They have made this magic a reality. In the early rounds of the investment, even the investors were doubtful about this thing. And I think Paul Graham, he asked when Brian Chesky went there to get investment for Airbnb, and when they said that people are sleeping at strangers' places, he asked, "People are actually doing it? Really? Are they crazy?" So he was not willing to give them the investment at that point, but something else happened and he got willing. That's a long story. Let's not dive deep into it. So if you have ever been to an Airbnb, you know that this is not like Oyo, or this is not like a platform where you have no relation with the platform. You book a room, you go there. There is no human connection. There is no, you don't feel any peculiarity of the platform when you check into one provider. It may be good. When you go to some other place, it may be bad. This one hotel may have some values, some qualities. Some other platform may have some other qualities and some other values. While Airbnb has also made sure that they are accommodative of the diversity, they have been quite stringent on the values. So they largely accommodate in countries like India. They have had challenges, and I personally have faced some difficulty with Airbnb. But I was really impressed by the way they sort out issues, because that sort of, we have a different kind of a traveling culture, and we have a different kind of boundary between people. So it takes some time for them to understand that kind of difference. So they'll have to approach things in a different way. So they have had some challenges here. Probably they also had challenges in the US and in other countries. But I was really impressed by how they sort out issues when they face a challenge. So basically, their expectation is really high for how people keep these values, champion the mission. It's not just about providing a space and collecting the money. This is not just about you doing some business. Not just. This is about doing business, but this is not just about doing some business and making money. So you need to champion the mission. And what is the mission? It's basically belong anywhere. People should be able to belong anywhere. Wherever you travel, you should be able to find a home. Wherever you travel, you should feel the comfort of your home. So that is the larger mission that they have. So people should be championing this mission if they want to be a part of Airbnb. And they should, in every sense, be a host, really a host. Just to make money, you can't just play the role of a host. You should actually be a host. We are caring, open, and encouraging to everyone we work with. So that's also true about the organization. Embrace the adventure. This is important that they have this as their value, because inviting strangers to stay in your homes is an adventure. So it's really important to have this as a value as well. We are driven by open curiosity, hopeful resilience, and the belief that every person can grow. Be a serial entrepreneur. This comes from a story of the Airbnb founders. In the early days, when they were facing a struggle to raise money, they actually sold cereals to make money. And while the money that came from the fund that came from Airbnb, the platform itself was at $5,000, they made some $50,000 by selling cereals. So what they mean is, there's also a pun. There's a pun. Being a serial entrepreneur, they have used it in a punny way, right? So be a serial entrepreneur. So that kind of entrepreneurial spirit is expected from the hosts. So this also is something that is largely consistent with the organization. Now, SAPOS, whose definition we discussed early on in the webinar for culture, that was from SAPOS, COO. So SAPOS, here are some of their values. They have 10 values here. And deliver wow through service. Do you know why what SAPOS is known for? SAPOS is not just for selling shoes and not just for selling apparel. SAPOS is known for its customer care executives. There have been instances of their customer care executives spending hours, not just minutes, not just seconds, spending hours talking to their customers, sorting out their problem. They are the benchmark of customer care service in the world. They don't force their customer care executives to optimize by spending just 1 minute on a call, 2 minutes on a call, otherwise we'll cut your salary. No, that's not what they do. They let their customer care executives spend as much time as they require. They need to solve the customer's problem. They are known for their customer care executives are known for sending flowers when they hear news of a person's death or something, or in situations like that. They go out of their way. Actually, they have their way. It's not out of their way. It's a way in SAPOS. It's their culture. So deliver wow through the service. And we are not going to look at everything. Here is be humble. This is a 10th one. Be humble. We'll talk about that as well. Right? So these are some cases. So if you engage with any of these organizations, you will know that these values are quite consistent. And when every employee of an organization at every instance keep these values, that is when we have a strong culture. So in a different definition, it is said that there is no good culture and bad culture. There is only a strong culture and a weak culture. So a strong culture is a consistent culture where at every touch point, you feel only one and only value, or whatever values are there. If there are like 5 values, you feel all those 5 values in a consistent manner. If you go to a restaurant, when you interact with a bearer, when you interact with a manager, you interact with the cook, whoever you interact with the security guard. The way things are designed there, the way it smells, the way it feels, everything will feel like a consistent single culture. So that is when we say that we have a strong culture. So how do we? So basically, these core values. Okay. Basically, these core values make the culture. This is the software. This is what makes the culture. And Dharmesh Shah, he has also said something else about culture. Culture is, here it is. Culture is a company's operating system. What he has said other than this is that build your culture like a product. Organizations, companies spend a lot of time researching how to build a product, how to build a service, what features you need to have there. You worry a lot about all these things. And what Dharmesh has said is that build your culture like a product. So I would just like to show the culture code of HubSpot. They have actually created a 128 presentation for their culture. And this is not just something that is to be shown somewhere. This is not something that is to be lectured somewhere. This is for the employees to understand, and this is for the employees to practice. And at every touch points, they check for it. While they hire, during appraisal, during trainings, during discussions, during meetings, at every touch points, they check for the culture fit. So we have come to almost the end of the presentation where I talk about culture. This is just this part and one more slide, and then we'll finish the presentation part. But this is really interesting. You people can also Google the HubSpot culture code and find this. Basically, they designed this based on the culture code created by Netflix. Netflix also had a cultural deck which had 128 slides or something. I didn't go after the Netflix culture code because they have recently diluted it a bit, as I understand it. Yeah. So what is culture? According to Dharmesh, or according to HubSpot, a set of shared beliefs, values, and practices. We obsess over our culture just like our product, because culture is a product. We are building 2 products, one for our customers, one for our employees. Culture is the product we build for ourselves. Culture is to recruiting as product is to marketing. So how do we build a culture? It's basically about recruiting. It depends on the people. What kind of people you have? Who is your early team? How do you hire people? What is the basis? That is how you basically build a culture. So I'll just skip some part of it. And so this is an important part. Culture happens. Whether intentional or not, companies always have a culture. So why not create a culture we love? So the point is to be intentional about creating a culture, because otherwise we'll accidentally have a culture. So here is an important thing. What people want from companies they work for has dramatically changed. This is also very true about the upcoming work generation in the workforce, the new entrants into the workforce, the Gen Z. It is said that Gen Zs care even more about the purpose and the values that companies stand for, more than even how much they get paid. I mean, what they get paid is really important, but when 2 companies pay equal payments, they value the purpose, what a company stands for. They value the belief. And a lot of people would even settle for a company that pays slightly less, not very less, but slightly less, but if the organization is aligned more with their values and culture. So income is important, but when there is not much of a gap in the income, people value the culture. So in the old world, people used to work to make a living, follow explicit directions, juggle work and life, commute into work, value amazing perks. But now in the new world, people work to make a difference. They chart the course. They are also leaders. which is also something that we are going to discuss in the next webinar, charting the course, how you are also a leader, how everyone is a leader in an organization, not just the so-called leadership titles. So they harmonize work and life. They connect to work from anywhere. They value amazing people. So I'm not going to look into everything here. So here are the values, some of the values, right? The 5 values that HubSpot has. We solve for the customer. We work to be remarkably transparent. We favor autonomy and accountability. We believe our best perk is amazing peers. We lean towards long-term impact. So I will just talk about the second value because we have a important case here. They're discussing a situation. Right. We work to be remarkably transparent. So everyone has open access to anyone in the company. It's not an open door policy, it's a no door policy. So at HubSpot, they have a no door policy. All the employees in the company, they can look at what everybody else is doing, what is their progress, what are they working on, everything. So we seek the truth and face the facts. No rose-colored glasses. Power is gained by sharing knowledge, not hoarding it. So this is about the second value. We share almost everything with everyone. So how do they do it? And we have the most active wiki on the planet. So they have a wiki where they share the financials, their diversity goals, management meeting decks, answers from our Ask Me Anything sessions. And this is open to all the employees in the company. Wait, how can you do it? Isn't HubSpot publicly traded? Yes, we had our IPO in 2014. Usually, publicly traded companies can only share detailed information with a select group of insiders. There was this condition. So what did they do when they wanted to be transparent? They officially made every employee at HubSpot a designated insider. Now, everybody is an insider. Now, nobody is an outsider. Now, this information can be shared with everyone. This means everyone has equal access to the same data. This is important because better data leads to better insights. Better insights means better understanding of our customers. We love data. This company is also about data. So I'm not looking at taking you to all the values here. So this is how their value is consistent with what they are doing. So now just one last thing. So how do you come up with your values? Which can be the software, which can be the operating system for your organization. How do you come up with your values? So as the leader, as the founder, as a co-founder, what personal values are most important to you? These are some prompts. And again, these prompts are given by Alfred Lin at a lecture, the former CEO of Zappos. So this is one prompt. As a leader, what personal values are most important to you? What are the most important values for business success? And this can also be industry specific. And what values will you look for in employees? Now, what could never be tolerated? Here, this is where it becomes, this part is important. The 10th value from Zappos culture, be humble. So at Zappos, they didn't like arrogant people. So they were against arrogance. They didn't tolerate arrogance. So they incorporated into their values humility, right? Each employee, everybody needs to be humble. So what is it that you hate? That can also tell you about what value you can add to the organization. Now, these values should be relevant in the context of the entire mission. For example, Airbnb has these values, and their overall mission is belong anywhere. People should be able to find a home anywhere. So when you take all these values together, this fits into the larger mission of belong anywhere. People are a host, people champion this mission, people embrace this adventure because it's also about welcoming strangers to your home, and you are also a stranger to the guest, and having the entrepreneurial spirit. So these are some questions that you can ask yourself. These steps need to be taken in the early days of an organization when you're trying to create a culture code for the best effect, for the best results, But Airbnb has a different story. They had almost 100 employees, I guess, when they actually did delve into their core values and stuff. Now, if you are a larger company, these are not, if you're a larger company with like 5 years, 10 years of experience or 20 years of experience, these prompts will be different. There is this framework of Simon Sinek, Start with Why, where he has a system, he has designed a system to explore your core values and your vision. He calls it your how and your why. How is a core value, how you live, how you exist, and why is your vision or your purpose. So there is that framework, and there is this other framework, I guess, came created by Jim Collins, where he has a different approach. So if you have if you run a company, or if you're part of a company which has a long history, 10, 20, 30 years of history, these are not the prompts that will help you come up with the values and the vision. Some of these are useful, but you will also have to look at the stories, the mostly the stories that highlight, the stories that stand out the most in the history of your organization. What have your customers thanked you the most for? That one day when your customers or your clients' eyes lit up, what was it for? What does your happiest customers tell about you? Why would your one of your customer recommend you to other people? So there can be your core values lying in all these stories. What are you usually proud of when you work as part of this company? There may be bad days, but on your best day, on some of your good days, what are you proud of? What are you happy about working as part of this company? These are the questions where you will have some hints about your core values, and from these stories you can elicit, you can come up with all these core values and build the operating system for the company, which is the culture. And now when each and every employee practices this, and when your hiring from now on is done based on this culture, you will have a consistent culture in just a matter of months. And then you can say that you have built a strong organizational culture. On that note, I would like to wind up this presenting part of this webinar. Now we can go into some discussion. You can share your questions that you have related to culture, your thoughts related to culture, maybe some of your experience, and then the next 5 minutes, you can share these things. Thank you so much. Kamaru, anything to add in between?
One observation is this comes through the leadership style also, from the leadership style. Then the staff and everybody copy the leadership style of the leader of the company or the founder of the company or who is leading them. So I have seen that. If we go to a hotel, we can see the similar behavior of the owner of the hotel and the employees of the hotel. You can see the copying people from that. I have observed that. Yeah, what values can be included if we are running a training company?
Right. Yeah. So like we said, these values are about what the founders value in this world. What is the most important for them? So there can be different kind of values. You can say that there is this classification as well that is usually made. There are some values which are mission-oriented values. What is your mission? Based on that, you pick some values and you include them. And there are some broad values which whatever business, whatever industry you work in, whatever company you work in, whatever field you work in, you will still have those values. Now, the thing is, both these mission-oriented values and these broader values, all these values are the values of the founder or the founding team. So it is about finding, if Arvind, if you are the founder of this training organization, it's about finding what are your best values on your best day? What are your values that you practice on your best day? So that is basically one question. So you can understand it by looking at your past and thinking about what was one experience that made you proud. You made a contribution, you helped somebody in some way, and you felt so proud. When were your eyes lit up out of happiness, out of that joy of having contributed something? What are some common feedbacks that you get from your trainees? Uh, how did your training impact those people? So figure out those common themes from the feedback or testimonials that you get from your trainees on your best days. Now, these things can be some of your most commonly practiced core values. Now, this approach by Jim Collins, in that he also talks about having some aspirational values. Rather than just practicing values, you can also have some values that you want to practice, something that you are not practicing as much. But I would say that it's more important to have something that you actually practice. And it's okay if you want some value in it, but you are not practicing it. You can't include it right now. It's okay. With those other values that you practice on your best days, you can still do a great service in this world. So it's not very much about what industry you are in. There are some industry specific values, but even before we bring it down to those values, you need to list all the broad values. And now some of them will help you when you are working in this industry. Some of those values that come from your stories or from your best days, some of those values are broad values, and that will help your organization no matter what industry you are in. So now maybe you will have 3 values here, which are like broad values, which are applicable anywhere, wherever you are in. And now there can be like 3 values which are like industry specific or mission oriented values. Now you bring them together. Now you have 6 values. So all these values come from the founders or the founding team. Thank you for the great question. It's like a very practical question that needs to be addressed in the webinar.
Sir,
So yeah, Deepak.
Vineeth sir, yes, sir. Do you have any kind of courses or means your personal workshops if I want to start my career as a corporate trainer?
Yeah, sure. Kamaru, would you like to?
Yeah, right now we have a program called if you want to be a facilitator, I can provide you individual support and mentoring. Plus, I have been conducting some programs on games and activities, facilitation, experiential education, such kind of programs. So after this program, you can contact me directly. We can connect and discuss in detail. And if you want some supports, like if you want to set your vision, your values, your core values, or such kind of support, you can contact Vineeth also. So we can plan a free discovery call as based on your needs. That's for absolutely free. Then after that, we can explore what's your needs and what we can do and how we can work together. We can discuss that. So anyway,
Okay,
after this program, you can
connect. Okay, I'll just make a WhatsApp message personally directly to both of you.
Yeah,
And
sure. We both are admins of the group, and we can send
and set a call on Monday.
Yeah, sure. We can schedule a call.
Okay, thank you.
So what do you work as right now?
Sir, presently I'm working as a soft skills trainer.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. We are glad to help. The whole point of this webinar series is to help people, organizations benefit from the insights in the field of L&D and also to help L&D professionals. So Khamarudheen is someone who has got like 14 years of experience in the training field, and he is one of the most popular outbound trainers in India right now. He did this mountaineering program as well from India's most prestigious
It's okay, sir. I'll
organization,
contact you on
NEMAS.
Monday. I'll contact you on Monday.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then also we are planning to conduct this kind of programs every week, and if possible, attend the programs.
Yes,
and
sir.
also we have uploaded some programs on YouTube. Before we conducted 5 programs, and we have uploaded on YouTube, so that will also be helpful to get some knowledge, deep knowledge about.
सर आपका YouTube चैनल एक बार पोस्ट उस पे YouTube का जो आपका लिंक है
Yes,
चैनल का वो ग्रुप में डाल दीजिएगा एक बार
yeah,
please.
I'll share that in the
ग्रुप में ठीक है.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And
so if you have any questions, if you have anything that you would like to add to the discussion, you can discuss it in the group, and we'll share the recording on the group. Yeah, Kamaru, please.
Yeah. So thank you so much for attending the session. Then if anybody miss any part of this webinar, we'll uploading this program also on YouTube. Most probably tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we'll be uploading that. Then we are planning to conduct this kind of programs every week. So our next program will be on training employees to be leaders. So that's the next workshop. And I mentioned earlier, you can arrange. Vineeth is a coach, corporate coach, and if you need any support, if you stuck in your current situation, or if you are looking to grow and unlock your true potential, and if you need such kind of coaching support, you can contact Vineeth. Then you can arrange a free discovery call. That's absolutely free. You can discuss with him. You can call him and fix an appointment. Then also we are conducting some programs for trainers, like game wizard workshops, the games and activities workshop for trainers, and some other individual mentoring also for the trainers and facilitators. Anything to add, Vinnie?
No, nothing. So shall we call it a day today?
Yes. So thank you so much, and bye. See you with the next program. So thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Good
See
night.
you.